Thank you so much for joining me today at Everyday Yoga. My name is Christine. My pronouns are she and her. And this is a recording of a live class over Zoom today. And it is not too terribly far ahead of Christmas. And a bunch of us got some bolsters for Christmas. So if you have a bolster, please go ahead and grab it and have it handy for you. If you do not have a bolster, you can stack a couple of blocks flat and put a pillow or folded up blanket on top of the blocks. Or if you have a really thin bolster, you could stack your bolster on the blocks. If you don't have blocks, you can just create a stack of pillows, folded up blankets and towels, whatever you think of that might create a bolster-like experience for you. So to begin with, let's go ahead and start in a seat, and we're gonna show the ways that bolsters can be used. So I am going to use mine for a little chair and prop my hips up on my bolster, and then cross one leg and then the other in front. And, position yourself, adjust yourself so that you're kind of supported by the bolster underneath your sit bones or even behind your back if you don't want to be seated up on it. And this will lift your hips and allow the knees to have some space, allow the ankles to have some space. And we're just going to go ahead and feel the support underneath us, the support of your mat, or whatever you happen to be practicing on today, the support of your bolster or folded up prop of another sort or other. Whatever support you happen to be using, I will hope to just kind of refer to it as bolster from now on, and we'll just imagine it's a bolster. And just go ahead and notice the breath, maybe closing the eyes. Lift those shoulders up towards the ears and then draw them back and down, letting those shoulder blades come down the back towards the back pockets. Tuck the chin, lift the crown of the head and the tips of the ears up towards the sky. And notice the breath. Where do you notice it in your body? Do you notice it at your nose as it enters and exits the nostrils? Do you notice it more at the chest as the heart rises and falls? Do you notice it in the belly, expanding and contracting? Draw yourself up to your fullest height. Really get long through the spine. Take an inhale here and just exhale to kind of relax into that elongated spine, finding ease here. Use your awareness, your inner eye, to scan your body and notice any place that you're holding on to tension or clenching, and just see if you can relax. Maybe the jaw, maybe the hands and feet, maybe the shoulders. And just breathe. Continuing to notice the breath wherever you notice it. And then let's go ahead and bring the hands to the belly. And we'll really notice the breath in the belly. Notice how you can draw the breath very, very, very deep, expanding allowing the diaphragm to push the organs down and away from the spine, and then exhaling all of the air from the lungs, drawing the belly button in towards the spine, getting out all the old air to make room for all the fresh oxygen to come in and nurture each and every cell. Breathing in through the nose. It's more beneficial than breathing in through the mouth. If that can be done for you tonight, you want to really focus on keeping the lips closed and inhaling and exhaling through the nose. And as you inhale through the nose, the little cilia, the little hairs in the nose, filter out any kind of pathogens or toxins or, I don't know, viruses. And it also humidifies the air so that your lungs can receive it and process it. It changes the temperature so that it's as cool or as warm as your body needs right now. And while you might think that when you breathe through your nose, continuing to hold the belly, focus on that belly breath. You might think if you breathe through the mouth that you get more air. But actually, because you have to slow it down to inhale through your nose, that air can get deeper and deeper and deeper into the lungs and be processed for every single cell of the body. And then let's bring the hands to the side body, kind of cupping the ribs sort of underneath the bra line. And just focus on that expansion into the side body. Inhaling to expand. And exhaling, noticing how the low ribs hug inward, protecting the heart, protecting the lungs. Inhale, expanding through the side body. And exhaling to hug it inward. And just continuing to breathe here. And if you like to release the hands down to the knees, you can go ahead and do that, but still continue to bring the awareness to the ribs. Inhaling to expand side to side. And then let's bring the awareness to the heart, maybe taking one hand and then the other over the heart space. And really focus on noticing the breath in the chest. Notice how it rises and falls with each breath. If you notice any thoughts coming in as you're focusing on the breath, just allow them to float by like clouds in the sky, knowing that they'll be there for you later, but continuing to focus on the breath and the sensations in body. Maybe the sounds that you hear around you. Using your senses to keep you present and aware, embodied. One more full breath here. And as you continue to breathe nice and deep into the breath or into the belly, let's set the bolster aside for just a minute and get a little bit of movement here. Let's come into tabletop and have a few rounds of cat-cow. So first, setting up your foundation, legs and feet are parallel, index fingers are parallel, the fingers are nice and spread wide, and you're pressing into the fingers, pressing into the tops of the feet, and kind of rounding the shoulders, finding a nice flat back here, a nice stable foundation, kind of staying grounded through the hands and the legs, even as you're uplifted through the back of the skull and the back body here. And then have the spine be long here, drawing the crown of the head away from the sit bones. And from here, the next time you inhale, go ahead and turn those toes under, bend the elbows slightly, drop the belly, lift the gaze, come into cow pose. And as you exhale, turn back to the tops of the feet, draw the belly button to the spine and round into the back, coming into cat pose. Inhale, cow pose, drawing the heart forward, lifting the tailbone. Exhale, cat pose, letting the head be heavy and the chin come in towards the chest. And as we continue these cat-cows, let's see if we can't start at the tailbone. So coming back into your nice, strong tabletop, let's come into cow pose. From the tailbone, from the base of the spine first, so that the spine is moving like a wave. So the tailbone drops, and then the low back, and then the mid back, and then the upper back draws back, and then the chest lifts. And then coming into the cat pose, we drop the tailbone, round through the low back, round through the middle back, round through the upper back, drop the head towards the earth, cat pose. Again, from the tailbone, so that it's like a wave. You can keep the tops of the feet down on the ground if you don't want to have the toes curled under here. But moving from the tailbone like a wave. Inhaling cow, exhaling cat. And then let's go ahead and go around and around. So let's come on over through the right side body and back into child's pose, and then inhale up through the left side body, back into cow. And then exhale through the right and all the way back to child's pose. Inhale through the left and back to cow. And we'll go around a couple more times before we reverse the circles. And these movements can be as subtle or as generous as you would like them to be. And when it feels good to you, go ahead and do the reverse. Coming back through the left side to your child's pose and coming up through the right side into your cow pose. And then the next time you come all the way back into child's pose, curl the toes under, tent the fingertips so that the fingertips are like little spiny spider things, and drop the heart towards the earth, really stretching through the shoulders, maybe bringing the forehead all the way down to the mat or to a block, and really find length through the shoulders, through the arms, through the side body, all the way down to the low back, pressing back into those feet. And again, if curls toed under is not for you, go ahead and turn the tops of the feet down to the mat. We'll take a big breath here, kind of almost a happy puppy pose, but not quite. And then we'll go ahead and turn the tops of the feet to the mat if they're not already, and come all the way up to our hero's pose. Taking a moment here to reconnect with the breath. Taking a moment to elongate through the body. And then we'll go ahead and come back to our bolster, bringing it to the center of the mat lengthwise. And mine is already covered with cat hair, did not take long. But I think that probably just makes it better. So you'll probably want to adjust your bolster a little bit. Make sure that it's comfortable for you, but take the knees as wide as feels good to you. Big toes are touching here, and you're going to just kind of snuggle the bolster in between the knees or thighs, whatever makes sense to you, and just sort of creepy crawl your way down to child's pose. Maybe keeping the hips on the feet and maybe turning the head to one side. Adjusting the breasts and belly to make sure that you're comfortable and not crushing anything. And just let the forearms and the hands rest onto the mat beside the bolster. And we're just going to find some gradual relaxation here. This feels so good. Maybe take a couple cleansing breaths here, inhaling through the nose. And exhaling out the mouth through a sigh. One more time. Have that chin gently tucked to keep the neck nice and long and protected. And we'll switch what direction that you're facing here in a moment to balance things out. But again, come back to that scan of the body, that mindfulness. Maybe noticing your toes back there behind you, maybe closing your eyes if they're not already. Noticing the tops of the feet, the shins against the mat. Noticing the knees and the thighs and the hips. And then coming into the low back. In the beginning, we felt the breath in the belly, in the ribs, in the chest, in the nose. So let's feel the breath in that low back body. Noticing how the back expands. Stretching the skin and the connective tissue underneath the skin. Allowing everything to just soften and release. Surrendering the weight of your body to gravity here and noticing if you're trying to support yourself or hold yourself up anywhere. And just let that go. Just surrender the weight of the body here. If you have any tension in the shoulders or the neck, the jaw, let that go. Continuing to breathe all through the back body now. Expanding from top to bottom and side to side with each inhale. And surrendering a little bit more with each exhale. And then very slowly and without disturbing yourself too much, go ahead and turn your cheek to the other side. Relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the neck, relaxing the jaw. Continuing to notice the breath in the back body. Surrendering the weight of the body, allowing your bolster to support you. We'll stay here for 3 more full breaths. Continuing to let go, continuing to soften. And I think I'm starting to drool. When you're ready, go ahead and begin to just gently push yourself up off the bolster. Coming back to hero's pose as you set the bolster aside once again, just for a couple minutes. And let's come back to tabletop and then step the right foot forward, coming into a nice low lunge. Adjust anything you need to adjust here. And we're just going to frame that front foot with our tented fingers, palms on the mat, or to blocks here. We're just going to open up the hips here. Now, if you like to use your bolster for support underneath the hips as you come down, you can certainly do that. Just getting in a little more bolster usage here. But for now, we're just going to allow those hips to sink towards the earth, maybe stretching the back leg back, maybe curling the toes under, maybe flipping the top of the foot to the mat. Take an inhale here and draw the shoulders away from the ears and tuck the chin. Draw the heart forward. And then we'll go ahead and just gently walk the hips back so that they're stacked over that left knee, maybe taking the blocks with you here, extending straight through that right front leg and lifting the toes up to the sky. Inhale here, finding length in the spine. And as you exhale, go ahead and allow your back to round, drawing the head towards the earth, releasing the weight of the head here. Noticing what you feel in the back of that right thigh. Not locking that knee here, but keeping a soft, gentle bend. You might press the toes down to the earth and get more of a stretch across the shin and the front of the foot. You might want to rock it back and forth here. And then we'll come back to that low lunge, bringing the blocks with you if you're using them. And then we're going to take that right hand to the top of the right thigh, and we're just going to look back over the right shoulder, getting a really nice stretch here in the side body. Inhale here, and if you want more of a twist, you can reach that right hand up towards the sky. Really pressing into the earth, using your feet and your left hand to keep you grounded onto the earth, even as you reach for the sky. Maybe look up towards your right hand, wiggle your fingers, drop those hips, and get a nice big hip opening. And then we'll bring that right hand back down to the earth, step the right leg back, and just switch it out for the left leg. Coming into low lunge on the other side, getting a little bit of a twist here, nice health in the back. Twists are also super healthy for digestion. So nice gentle twists every now and then are a good thing for both the spine and the internal organs. We'll find that nice low lunge here, opening up through the hips, bringing the palms or the fingertips down to the earth. And you can use your blocks on any setting. You don't have to be on the low setting. You could be up here in the high set or medium setting, or you could come up to the high setting as well. Really open up through the heart to whatever feels good to you today. Keeping that chin tucked even as you lift the heart. Not actively seeking a chiropractic adjustment, but if it happens for you, awesome. And then we'll go ahead and come back into that half splits, drawing that left hip over that bent right knee, lifting the toes up towards the sky. And then maybe rounding forward, letting the forehead come towards the earth and finding length in the back of the neck. Noticing what you feel in the calf and the thigh. Allowing the weight of your head to create traction for your spine. Maybe take the toes down towards the mat and get a little bit of a stretch across the front of the shin. Maybe just kind of toggle the foot back and forth. And then we'll inhale and come forward back to our lunge. Take that left hand to the left knee and look back over the left shoulder. Getting that nice stretch along the right side body now. And if you want to get a little deeper into that twist, you can reach that left arm up towards the sky. And the fingertips don't have to come all the way up to the sky, especially if you have any issues with your shoulders. You can keep the hand low or even take the hand to the hip and twist back, drawing the elbow back. So whatever feels good for your shoulder. And we'll just maybe look up towards the sky and find a stretch in the neck. Inhale and wiggle those fingers, and then exhale to bring the palm back down to the earth. And then we'll come back to a high kneeling position and set the blocks aside, unless you're using them with your bolster, because we're coming back to the bolster here. So take the bolster a long way again, and turn around so that your back is facing the one end that's about centered in the mat. So you're gonna be, I'm just gonna kind of push it back here with my body a little bit. Now, depending on how thick your bolster is, you might want to add a little more height. But we're just going to go ahead and bring our low back or tailbone to the bolster and gently lower ourselves down until we're laying across the whole thing. Now, if your bolster is not as long as this one, which is not very long, I'm just super duper short. If your bolster doesn't support your head though, you can create some extensions back here with additional pillows, blocks, rolled up towels, whatever you have around the house, until the full length of the back body is supported here. And we're gonna bring the feet as wide as the mat, bend the knees up towards the sky, and then draw the knees in toward one another so that they're supporting each other. You can have the palms down on the mat beside your hips, or you can turn the palms up towards the sky. Just noticing what feels best in your shoulders and arms today. And you're not locked in once you find an arm position. If we get through this pose part way and you decide you want to flip your arms over, well then by all means flip your arms over. Just find a nice comfy pose here where the whole front side of the body can open up. Even here in the legs, you could extend one leg and then the other. Just make sure that the knees are not locked here and maybe the knees have some support underneath them. But even here in this constructive rest pose with the knees supporting one another, we create length in the hip flexors and in the psoas muscle here, still releasing the hips. So we tend to kind of sit a lot in our culture, in our society, and well, a lot of that time is spent hunched forward. So this pose will counteract all of that hunching forward and dropping the head forward and closing down the body by opening up the body, creating space across the heart, opening up through the spine. And again, see where you can surrender the weight of the body here. Can you lose any tension from the hips or the jaw? Can you stop exerting any effort at all here? You should not have to exert any effort here. You are completely supported by the bolster underneath you, by the mat underneath that, by the floor of your place where you're practicing underneath that, and by the earth underneath that. Just allowing the body to be open, allowing the heart to be open. Breathing deeply down into the belly. Relaxing the hands. Relaxing the shoulders, allowing the collarbones to slide away from one another. Letting the forehead soften and the eyes be heavy in their sockets. Relaxing the jaw. Inviting the hips to be heavy. Inviting the whole body to be heavy here. Fully grounded upon the earth. Continue breathing that nice slow belly breath. Nice and deep. Stay here for 3 more full breaths. And then go ahead and begin to just wiggle the fingers a little bit and heel toe the feet back to parallel. And then you can either roll to one side or the other to get off the bolster, or you can tuck the chin and press the hands and forearms onto the mat and then push the feet into the earth just so that you can lift the hips up off the bolster. Then we'll set the bolster aside one more time here. And we'll come to lie down on our backs. Go ahead and draw one knee and then the other in towards the heart. And just rock a little bit gently from side to side. We're going to find a little bit of movement in the hips here. So go ahead and come into butterfly pose, Badakanasana. Drawing the knees away from one another and holding on to the outside edge of the feet. Just like butterfly cobbler's pose, just like we do when we're seated up on the floor, but this time we're doing it in this supine lying down position, just hugging those feet in towards the center. And if it's hard to reach the feet here, you could hold on to the ankles or the shins or even the knees. And then we'll come into happy baby, Again, holding on to the backs of the thighs or the shins or the ankles or the outside edges of the feet. Or you can peace sign those big toes if you prefer to do that. And we'll come into this happy baby pose, rocking back and forth a little here. And then we'll find a little dynamic movement here. So let's draw the feet back together into butterfly. And then the next time you inhale, we'll draw the feet up towards the sky into happy baby. Exhale into butterfly. Inhale, happy baby. Exhale, butterfly. Inhale, happy baby. And then we'll rock a little from side to side, maybe extending one leg and then the other. Maybe doing that even a couple of times here. And then we'll bring the soles of the feet back together and draw the knees parallel. And then we'll hug onto this right leg and send that left leg out nice and long. You can bring that left leg down to the mat, or if you want a little bit of strengthening for the core here, you can allow it to hover just above the mat just for a moment. Pressing the sole of the feet away from one another. Drawing the right knee in, pressing the sole of the left foot away, flexing through both feet. And then we'll send that left arm out to the side and inhale, drawing the right leg over towards the right. Exhale, drawing the right leg back to center, using that core if you have the leg lifted, or if you have the leg down. You can definitely use this as core strengthening. We'll inhale one last time and then exhale and allow the left leg to come to the earth and twist that right knee over to the right. Now you could use your bolster here to support the right leg. I don't have it on the right side to do that just yet, but I'll do it on the other side. And maybe extend that right arm out behind you and gaze back over the right palm, getting another good twist here. And maybe using that left hand to massage the outside of the right thigh, getting into that really sensitive IT band here a little bit. Two more breaths right here. And then when you're ready, go ahead and draw the knees back to center. Invite the nose towards the knees so we can realign the hips and the spine and the neck. And then we'll hug the left leg in and send the right leg out long. Maybe letting it hover, maybe not. Flexing through both feet as you draw that left knee towards the chest and press the right foot away, getting a nice big stretch in the groin area here. And then if you can take that right arm out to the right and inhale, drawing the left knee away from the center of the body, and exhale, drawing it in towards the center of the body. Inhale away, exhale to center. One more time, inhale away, drop the leg if it's lifted, exhale and twist to the left. And I have my bolster over here so I can just rest that left leg up on the bolster, stretching the left arm out behind me and gazing out over that left palm. Breathing here. Maybe massaging that left thigh with the right hand. And we'll stay here for 2 more breaths. And the next time you inhale, we'll come back to center, hugging the both knees in towards the heart, inviting the nose towards the knees, coming into a little ball as you rock gently from side to side. And then we'll inhale and stretch everything out long. Stretching the toes as far away from the fingertips as you can possibly get, wiggling through both and coming into your final Shavasana. Your final Shavasana could be lying in child's pose on your block or on your bolster, maybe lying with the heart open on the bolster. Maybe coming into full Shavasana, lying flat on your mat, arms open to the sky. Feet at each corner of the mat so that there's plenty of space. Tucking the chin, drawing the shoulder blades in towards one another, or finding some other Shavasana of your choice. You could even take the bolster here in final Shavasana and place it right under the knees and rest here. So find a comfortable Shavasana that works for you, and we'll just stay here for a few nice deep rounds of belly breath. Just allowing your practice to integrate with you today. This time of being present, this time of being with the breath, this time of nurturing the body and using the supports that you have around you to create a good self-care practice. We're using our bolsters and our pillows and blankets and things for support in this practice. But I don't know about you, but it can sometimes be difficult to ask for the support that you need from the people around you. It's hard to ask for help sometimes when you need help, whether it's help from somebody just listening to you, or maybe you want a little bit of feedback from someone, or maybe you need a shoulder to cry on, or maybe you need some help carrying the groceries in, or whatever it is. Often our first instinct is to shut out that need for help because we don't want to appear vulnerable or weak or helpless. We want to appear strong and capable. But it is not only okay to ask for help and support, it is necessary. It's how we as human beings were created to be. And many of us did not have good support when we were children or growing up or younger people. And we got kind of a skewed worldview of what it means to be supported. So I hope that this practice has been supportive for you. I hope that you are getting the care and support that you deserve. And I hope that you find peace and solace wherever you are. And I think I'm just going to end this practice right here in Shavasana. So if you'd like to join me in bringing your hands to your heart center, and know that I recognize the light and honor the love that is you. And that I'm here to support you with these yoga practices. And that's all I got to say about that. Well, I was going to ask you to click subscribe and blah, 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 but you know how to do that. So I'm here. You know where to find me. Thank you for coming to this practice. The light within me does see and honor the light within you. Namaste.